So even if you only have $500, Peter, it's better to put that $500 into a Roth and get that tax-free growth than it is not to.
And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus with the financial optometrist, keeping us financially focused. He is John Kuykendall, founder, CEO of GulfCoast Financial Services. Disclaimer, he is not an optometrist in real life, but he is your financial guide and resource, ladies and gentlemen. Founder and CEO of GulfCoast Financial Services. Gulf Coast has been named Best of the Best in Financial Services 10 straight years and running by the readers of the Lake City Reporter. So, John, we always appreciate you putting on the glasses, keeping us financially focused.
Well, thank you, Peter. And hopefully when we get through with our clients and prospects, they can see better where they're going in retirement. And that's what it's all about, is coming up with a roadmap for retirement and helping people get through it. Because as we say, retirement's not for wimps. We know that, right?
Yep, it is not, but quitting is for winners. And in order to win the game, we've got to know what's going on with our money, how to properly use and utilize it. And that's what we talk about here, keeping you financially focused. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've got questions, concern, if you would like to put together that financially focused written retirement income plan, John always welcomes and invites your calls and the opportunity at a no cost, no obligation, complimentary review strategy session, and to get your plan constructed, put together, or reviewed if you're already making good progress, but just want to double check things. They welcome you as well. 386-755-9018 is the number to call. 386-755-9018 to reach Gulf Coast Financial Services. And today, John, we're going to be talking all about the Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks. How do they compare to other savings opportunities and retirement vehicles? I know that you could probably say, hey, we've got a million questions about Roths, but today, we've got 21 Roth questions answered on our outline. I don't know if we'll get to all of them, but we're going to get through some of the major questions when it comes to Roth IRAs. We hear a lot about them. I mean, certainly they are becoming more and more popular and prevalent, right?
Well, that's right, Peter, because, the first question is, what's the benefit? And as we look at Roths, and as we've said on this show before, a deferred account, an IRA or a 401k, what I'm doing is paying my taxes later when I've got the gain. So I'm paying on the seed and the harvest. So, the government owes, they own 30% of my Roth or my IRA or my 401k. Whereas with a Roth, I'm putting that money in now and it grows tax-free. So, as we said on this show, we believe taxes are going to go higher because we have so much debt. The government has two options, as we've said, either quit spending or tax more. And, while I know that we have this committee now that is trying to cut government waste and government cost, the government will rebuild itself as it always has and has always done.
They're going to keep spending, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to quit, Peter.
Now, well, bottom line, Roths help people plan for their financial future and remove some of the risks, specifically the tax risk and legislative risk from our financial future, taking more control over taxes. And the Center for Retirement Research recently estimated that Americans now hold about 10% of their total IRA money in Roth accounts, about $1.4 trillion in Roth accounts. So I think we are catching on, right? And so we're understanding this more and more. But John, just so that we have a place to start this conversation, what are the benefits? And if you would, we'll wrap two questions in one. What are the disadvantages of a Roth 401k
Peter,
or IRA?
For one thing is I can't take it off my taxes this year. So if I am itemizing my taxes, it's not something that I can subtract from my taxes and have that benefit. And so, but it does grow tax free. So and the other limitation is the amount of money that we can put into it. There's only a certain amount of money that the government allows us to put into it. And we'll talk about the limits, which I think now this year, $7,000. for those under 50 and 8,000 for those over 50. So if you're fortunate enough to have a Roth 401k, and if your company matches, certainly that's a way that we can get a lot more money into a Roth sooner.
Yeah, there are limits and limitations, and those are expanded a little bit if you've got the 401k as opposed to the IRA. The government lets you save more at your workplace plan than they allow you to save privately. Is that a disadvantage for folks that don't have a 401k on the job?
Well, yeah, because I can only put so much money aside. I mean, it's not, while I have those limitations, it's based upon income too. If I'm single and make over 150, then I can't contribute any into it. So if I make less than that, there's a limitation on how much I can put in. On married, if it's over 236,000 joint income, if I'm filing head of household, then I can't put any in either. So even though I may not be in a company plan, I still, because of those income limits, may not be able to contribute.
And again, just to specify and reiterate, those income limits are for IRAs. Roth or traditional IRAs have those kind of income limits and limitations, whereas we don't have those with the employer-sponsored plans like the 401ks, right, John?
No, there is a limit to how much we can put in, but the amount of money that we make doesn't limit what we can put in.
Well, okay, so we're catching on to the fact that these Roths are fantastic ideas, and a lot of people saying, well, I wish I had done this a long time ago. So, for those that are still young, is there like any minimum age requirement for a Roth IRA?
No, there's no minimum age, and there's no minimum that can go into one. There's only the maximum, but we can put any amount. So even if you only have $500, Peter, it's better to put that $500 into a Roth and get that tax-free growth than it is not to. And so certainly if I'm a husband or if I'm a spouse and I'm working and I have a retirement account and the spouse at home doesn't, then we need to put that money in for that spousal IRA or Roth IRA.
Okay, and on the other end of the spectrum, John, am I ever too old for a Roth or too old for a Roth to make sense?
No, as long as you have earned income, Peter, you can put in forever. I mean, I'm still contributing to mine. So certainly no matter how old we get, and I'm old as dirt, we can still contribute to our IRAs.
You said it, not me, John. And even if we're not earning income, we can still get money into a Roth. It's just the difference between brand new contributions or conversions. Can you define the difference for us?
Well, Peter, what happens is suppose I have a 401k at my work and I retire and I don't have any earned income because I'm living on Social Security in my retirement. Then I can take part of my 401k and I can convert it into a Roth IRA and then have it grow tax free. And when I take it out, there are no tax consequences for me. So certainly it gives us another way to plan income, and also another way to control our taxes in retirement.
Now, the benefit of a Roth is in the growth that happens after the money's in there, right? So we want it to be in there for a while to really benefit from it. But is there any restriction on accessing the money once it's in the Roth?
No, that's really not. That what we have to do is the interest has to stay there for 5 years. But the contributions, the amount of money that we put into it, can come out at any time. Now, we don't recommend that because we want that money to grow because it's growing tax free. No matter what my income bracket is or what the government does with taxes, I'm not going to have to pay taxes on that money again. I've already paid my taxes on it when I put it in.
Now, I think I know that you probably can't directly answer this question, but maybe you can give us a clue on an individual basis. Is there one that's better? Like the traditional way that people have done for the last 40 years, tax deferred, or kind of this newer way with the Roth?
Well, no one size fits everybody. And that's why we individualize the financially focused income plan based on the individual and based on their needs. I think that a combination of the two works out best because as we've grown this, we haven't had Roth all that long. Senator Roth put this in rather late, long time after we started 401ks
Yeah.
and IRAs. So we have this money that's built up in our 401ks, and the Roths are slowly catching up. As you said, 10% of the total amount in IRAs is in Roth. So, that we want to have a combination of both. We can't convert all of it and pay taxes on it. But on the other hand, we don't want to be lopsided. The one good thing about the Roth is like I said, I can take the money out anytime I want, my contributions. So it's a way to get tax-free income in retirement and be able to not to pay taxes on it. So even though I'm having my required minimum distributions as I reach 75 from my IRAs, I can take money out of my Roth tax-free so I can control the amount of taxes or what tax bracket I'm in, Peter.
A quick search of the Google AI there, John, says, yeah, these have not been around nearly as long. So the people kind of looking back, kicking themselves, saying, well, why didn't I do this sooner? Or why wasn't I told about this sooner? The 401k has been around since ERISA, 1974. Didn't really catch on until probably the 80s, right? It took some
Yeah,
time
early
there.
80s.
But
Mhm.
the Roth IRA was not even introduced until 1997. And then the Roth 401k, another type of account, not introduced till 2006. So, and again,
Yeah,
those probably took a while to catch on as well, right? So,
yes.
yeah, it was not available for nearly as long. That's why we haven't heard of it, or that's why we probably, look back saying, well, I wish I would have. Well, it wasn't around. So you can't wish you would have done something that wasn't even in existence, right? However, John, now that more and more companies do offer that Roth side of the 401k and more people are taking advantage, there is some question about the match. Can you talk to us about the match? Will my company match my 401k Roth contributions?
If your company doesn't match at all, then it will do the match to the Roth. The company, I mean, between the Roth and the IRA or the 401, they will do a match. Now you need to read your plan and make sure that, with HR that you've got an understanding of how it's going to work with the 401k. Can I get loans against it? How much is my match going to be? And certainly, Peter, we want to put up whatever the match. That's free money. So if I'm getting 5% from my company, I want to put up at least 5% so I get the full match.
Most
But
most of the time, though, they're not paying the tax when they match
no,
it, right?
no, they don't pay the tax. That's yours. It's going to be reported to you as income. So you're going to have to show that full income on your income tax. But we only have to pay it one time, Peter. So if that 5% contribution grows to 30% later because of the growth inside my portfolio, I don't have to pay taxes on that.
And on the raw side, that's the real benefit. All the
That's
growth that happens after you get it in, the actual entry, the conversion or the contribution, that is not the real benefit. That's the part that costs you money, and then you get the
yeah.
benefit from everything that happens thereafter. So, John, how much does a Roth cost, and what will my returns be? I think these are again two questions probably ask a lot, but maybe don't have an exact answer in a way.
Well, your statement's going to show you how much you're paying, but the Roth won't cost any more than your regular account. If you have a Roth IRA, then it's not going to cost any more than a regular IRA. Same thing with a 401k. Now, it's going to be invested, it can be invested the same way as my 401 or my IRA. So the return should be similar or what you're getting in your regular portfolio. There's no penalty for us putting money in a Roth. It doesn't have to go into a money market account. There's no limits on what we can make. It's based on the market and what we're invested in, Peter.
But the title Roth is the tax status. So that
Right.
the tax status does not determine what you're invested in, therefore
No.
doesn't determine the rate of return. it determines how those returns are taxed.
Right. That's all it is. It'll be invested just like the regular account, should make as much money and should be a good investment for you. And like I said, big thing is that I've already paid the taxes. So it's kind of like if I buy my car and I pay cash for it, then it's mine. I don't have a partner. If I finance it, while I'm financing it, I'm paying extra interest to the finance company, which is my partner. So do you want the government to be your partner, or had you rather get pay and be your own self, be your own owner? And so that's what I think a Roth is I'm becoming my own. I don't have a partner in my retirement.
Yeah, you own all of it, 100% of it. It's
Yeah,
like having a mortgage, right? You
yeah,
own part of the house, the bank owns part of the house.
right.
Same in your retirement account, except the IRS is your partner there. So, John, we've talked about the fact that Roths have not been around forever, right?
Right.
Laws changed and they were created. Will they be around forever?
Peter, that's something that you and I can't tell. I mean, that's up to the government and up to the legislative powers. Now, those who have Ross and those who are in Ross, we will probably 100% be grandfathered. So we will continue with the same tax treatment, I would hope. But we can't guarantee that. There's no guarantees with government. It depends on how much money they need. I mean, if you take a look at the Secure Act, who would have ever thought that we would have to pass on to our children an IRA that would be taken out in 10 years. I mean, we never dreamed that. So while we have this option, we need to make sure we use it, but we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We just have to be flexible and nimble.
I love your statement. It depends on how much money the government needs. Yeah. All right. Well, that's very reassuring. Thanks, John. Um, uh, okay. We talked about a little bit of a lot of the benefits, a
Yeah,
little bit of the downsides. You have to pay tax before the money goes
right.
in. But later on down the road, there are some additional implications on retirement money and income, including Roth conversions. Can you talk to us about Social Security taxation and Medicare premiums? Can a Roth cause or will they eliminate these factors?
Well, just a regular Roth, as I pull money out of my Roth, then it will eliminate the tax on Social Security and the additional tax on Medicare. Now, if I'm doing a Roth conversion, and I just went over the taxes of a client who did a Roth conversion last year in 2024. Now, he will have to pay the tax on the money we converted from his IRA to the Roth, and it will create up to 85% of his Social Security is subject to taxes based upon what tax bracket he's in. And also, his Medicare Part B can go up because the IRMA is Part B is based on income. And so the IRMA, as we call it, is based on how much money I made that year. So, but it's a one-time deal. The government catches it, and I guarantee you it'll automatically go up, but it's only 1 year. So when you look at the factor, I'm paying the taxes at this year's rate, I know what it's going to be, and I only have to deal with the IRMA and the Social Security for that 1 year, then it's not such a big deal, Peter.
All right, so we're getting in the home stretch. We've actually gotten through a lot of these questions
Yeah,
here
we
about
did.
Roths. I know people have a lot more, and if they want to talk through income, investments, taxes, and of course, income and investments result in taxes or have tax implications. If they want to get all that picture put together, that's the financially focused written retirement income plan. Give John Kuykendall and GulfCoast Financial Services a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. John, traditional IRAs and 401ks and yet to be taxed deferred retirement accounts, they have RMDs, requirements on them of when we have to pay taxes, when we have to make withdrawals. Does a Roth have an RMD the same way?
No, the Roth can continue to grow forever. Now, there is a stipulation that when it passes to the subsequent heirs after the spouse, that that money has to be taken out over 10 years so that it can be back in the system. But that's not taxed as they take it out. It comes out tax free. So the the RMDs, as you call it, the required minimum distributions, with my IRAs, my 401, that's money that now when I reach 73 or 75, it's progressing to 75, that I have to take that out no matter whether I need the money or not. And I have to pay taxes on it. And it could put me in a higher tax bracket. It could put me into the required Part B upscale, as we talked about earlier, more premium. So those, we don't have any control over that. The Roth, we don't have to take out. But what I like to do, Peter, while we are needing additional income, if we're living off our 401ks and our IRAs and our Social Security, we can have a combination between how much money I take out of my IRA and how much money I take out of my Roth so that we can limit the tax brackets that we're in. Also, don't forget that if I'm over 70 and a half and I give my money to charity, I can go directly from my IRA to the charity, and that will count as part of my RMD, and I won't have to pay taxes on that money. Now, Peter, that's something that most people are forgetting.
Yeah.
And I'm running into it all the time where people are having to pay taxes, but and we're not getting the benefit of the charitable deduction, but they're pulling money out of their IRAs and then making the contributions, and we're having to pay tax on it.
Well, again, talking over the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the benefits, disadvantages of Roth IRAs, the 21 Roth questions answered. And if you've got any questions of your own, if you want to make sure that you're taking full advantage of the opportunity, and again, not guaranteed to be around forever. So let's take advantage of opportunities while they are present. We are in a great environment for Roth considerations and controlling your tax liability. John Kuykendall and the team from GulfCoast Financial Services can show you how. Give them a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. Now, John, I know there's this misunderstanding, and in one part it is correct, but in another way, maybe not so much correct. If I earn too much, I mean, we talked about it, there are earnings limits. If I earn too much, I can't get money into a Roth. Talk to us about that.
Well, Peter, there is something we call the backdoor Roth, which means if I earn too much money to make a Roth contribution, or I can make a pre-tax or after-tax contribution to an IRA. So I take money that I've already paid taxes on, and I can make a contribution to an IRA. I don't get any tax benefit from it, so it just goes in the IRA. I can then convert that to the Roth, no matter on how much money I make. A lot of people are using this, Peter, and it's a great way to go ahead and make those contributions, even though you've over the income limit.
Or again, if you've got one at work, a Roth 401k, or converting existing IRA money, several ways to get money into a Roth. Almost everyone can get money into a Roth if that's a financial goal of yours. If you want to learn how or crunch the numbers and see the benefit, pick up the phone, give John Kuykendall and the team from GulfCoast Financial Services a call, 386-755-9018. John, always appreciate your time. Taxes are obviously a big financial issue on the minds of savers and investors. They want to keep more, and understanding a Roth is one way to do that.
That's right, Peter. And if someone out there wants to do a Roth conversion, and we recommend that prior to going on Medicare, either if 65 or if you're working and you go later and you have health insurance, we can do those conversions prior to that. And we're much better off because we don't have to deal with that higher Medicare Part B cost. But if you'd like to know how much it's going to cost you, all you have to do is give us a call, come in and see us. We'll run the numbers through our tax calculator, and we can show you how much that Roth conversion is going to cost you in taxes and where you're going to be as in regard to your overall taxes.
Again, you'd like to see your numbers, if you'd like to make sure you're taking advantage of the opportunities that we have to control our tax bill into the future. isolate, protect yourself against future tax increases or the potential thereof, pick up the phone, give a call, learn more, implement the strategies of how to take advantage of a Roth IRA, but do so with caution and with guidance. That's what they are there for at Gulf Coast Financial Services, 386-755-9018. That is 386-755-9018. John, we always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Peter. Great to be here. See you next week.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. has been named as Best of the Best since 2015 in the category of Best Financial Advisor in the Lake City, Florida area. The award was based on receiving the most votes in this category from a survey offered and tabulated by the Lake City Reporter. No direct or indirect compensation was provided to the Lake City Reporter and/or any raters, and the award is not contingent on future direct or indirect compensation offered to the newspaper and/or raters. Portfolio performance is not a criterion, and voting is open to any readers of the newspaper.